And sadly, many will tell you, out of all of the recovery processes, small businesses were simply left out, except for what the Mississippi legislature did through our bridge loan program with support from the banks. There was no seamless wind and water insurance to protect their property. There were no grants for businesses. Eventually, we did have the guaranteed loans, but they were not immediately readily available. Access to capital was limited. They were faced with higher insurance costs, labor shortages, lack of affordable housing for their employees and themselves, a severely impacted and, in many cases, lost customer base, and the opportunity to absorb huge loans to get back up in business. And all of these issues were and still are critical deterrents to rebuilding the small business sector of our economy. SBA loans were and still are available. In fact, they work out of our office at the Chamber of Commerce. But most business owners will tell you now that the last thing they need is more loans on top of other loans while paying on lost inventory and other losses. Many small business owners simply had to rely on their savings and their own true grit and determination to get back on their feet, and they did. The question today is this: how long can they survive without affordable insurance? Besides limited access to insurance, cost is also an issue. Even the landmark legislation our Mississippi legislature passed this year, rates through the Mississippi Wind Pool are at 144% increase for some business owners. Others have seen rates triple. One church in downtown Bay St. Louis has over 336% increase. His premiums went from $20,000 to almost $70,000 for a church. These small business owners are the champions, and if you don't mind, stand with me while I tell your story. So the stories and statistics I'm sharing with you are from the grassroots, the very heart and soul of our nation's economy. Another small business retail owner admits the reduced interest rates on the SBA loans are great, but it simply does not make up for the increased cost of insurance. There must be ways to offset the increased cost of doing business through grants or no-interest loans, he recommends. As he worked to rebuild his building, he lost 14 months of commerce. Insurance costs are killing the rebirth of the Mississippi Gulf Coast, one local CPA said. Before Katrina, his office insurance rate was $616 per month. Now, he says, the premiums are $1,700 per month. He also says when looking at insurance rate increases of small businesses, you are not dealing with apples and apples. Pre-Katrina, the policies covered more things like loss of income, so the rates have tripled and the coverage is less. Another issue he points out is the demands insurance companies are placing on small business that make it prohibitive to rebuild. One small business owner was told by his insurance carrier that for a $400,000 building, he would need to purchase coverage for that of an $800,000 building, or he would not be sold the insurance. Today, he has less staff, he has less space, he has more costs, and his insurance rates are climbing. Another business owner has experienced a $20,000 increase in his insurance rates, and he's not even sure he can continue to hang on to the policy. After he pays his employees, interest costs, and insurance, there is literally nothing left to pay himself. This is a common theme among small business owners. The biggest concern he has is if the insurance problem is not fixed quickly, many businesses will have no choice but to close. And if this happens to him and his family, they would lose everything, including their home, because all their assets are tied up through his SBA loan. The 5 families his employees support will also be affected. The rent doubled post-Katrina. He is now struggling to hold on to the 5 employees he employs. I don't hire, I support families. He's had to make adjustments in store hours and the days he is open because of the labor shortage and the housing shortage. All of this, coupled with the shrinking customer market, affects the bottom line. A local restaurateur said, insurance costs and dramatic increases in cost of insurance have caused his business to remain closed. Nearly 2 years following Katrina, the only thing you will see on the site where his daughter's business once stood is a sign that says, coming back soon, and the promise of hot donuts. We miss those donuts. Not only do we not have a grocery store, but we don't have a donut shop either. The shopping center behind this business is blighted with no businesses back up and running. Another issue affecting the business of one small business owner and many others is the devastation of the neighboring New Orleans market. Many businesses are dependent upon the second home weekend traffic, and this market loss contributed to the decision one longtime business owner made to simply retire and not reopen after more than 35 years. One developer who is investing $7 million in Hancock County to develop affordable housing says the increased costs of insurance are making it difficult for him to provide affordable rental housing. And these costs are being passed along to the consumer. One local pharmacist says only 25% of his business is back. It's all he can do to pay his bills. He's not had a paycheck since the storm and is simply being forced to live off of savings, which are now dwindling down to nothing, a common theme among small business owners. This business owner, like many, did not receive any insurance settlements for his business. His business was on Highway 90, miles from the shore. He did not have flood insurance. It took him more than 1 year to get a loan from SBA to simply get back in business. Access to capital from the private market could not be secured, and the shopping complex where his business is located is blighted, and the housing developments nearby, once a key source of customers, are destroyed, leaving no customer base. When asked why he stays, he simply says, I've lived here all my life. It's too hard to start somewhere else where no one knows me. He's counting on people coming back, and in the meantime, he and his mother and brother survived, living above the pharmacy. Now, these are just a few stories, and thank you to the business community for standing with me as I share this, because, you know, as the Chamber of Commerce Director, I like to focus on only the positive things, but today we have to talk about what's really happening in our economy. And so these case studies could represent many. And as a business person, what does this mean? Should I cut costs? Should I raise prices? What do you do if you cannot compete in the marketplace? Do you go out of business? We believe we must turn to you, the members of Congress, to fix the insurance mess that we are in. We need one seamless wind water insurance protection now. Hurricane season has begun. We have a chance to fix this now. A disaster or catastrophe could happen to any one of the coastal constituents at any time. It happened to us. And overnight, our lives changed forever. This is why we're all here today. I know you want to make a difference for your country, and in so many ways you already have. You have come to help us solve these barriers to economic recovery, and you have given us hope. You have heard the facts. You have seen the faces. The message is clear. We need seamless wind water insurance protection that the private sector is unable to provide. Thank you so much for your leadership and for your continued action for a solution.